Rain poured relentlessly from the ink-black sky, turning the streets into mirror-like surfaces, reflecting the dim orange glow of the streetlights. The wet pavement glistened ominously, as if holding secrets in its shimmering depths. Emily had always enjoyed the sound of rain. The rhythmic pattering against her window often lulled her into a peaceful slumber. But on this particular night, the rain was anything but soothing. She had been driving through the rural backroads, her headlights cutting through the heavy downpour like knives. The GPS had failed her, leading her onto unfamiliar paths that wound through dense forests and isolated fields. The old pickup truck's wipers fought a losing battle against the rain, leaving her with a distorted view of the road ahead. Just as frustration was beginning to set in, she noticed a faint light up ahead. As she drew closer, she saw the outline of a dilapidated gas station. Its ancient sign swung in the wind, producing an eerie creaking sound that seemed to echo the rhythm of the raindrop. Grateful for the opportunity to take a break from the relentless storm, Emily pulled into the gas station's lot. The place seemed frozen in time, like a relic from a forgotten era. The pumps were old and rusted, and the small convenience store's windows were smeared with grime, preventing her from seeing inside. Despite her better judgment, Emily stepped out of the truck and hurried into the store, seeking refuge from the rain. The bell above the door jingled as she entered, the sound echoing through the dimly lit interior. Shelves lined with dusty, half-empty cans and boxes loomed around her, casting eerie shadows that seemed to dance in the dim light. A middle-aged man stood behind the counter, his eyes fixed on a small TV playing static in the corner. He glanced at Emily as she entered, his expression devoid of warmth. "Storm's a nasty one," he muttered, his voice as cold as the rain outside. "Yeah," Emily replied, trying to muster a smile. "Do you have a restroom I could use?" He pointed towards a door at the back of the store, his eyes never leaving her. As she made her way towards the restroom, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The air was heavy with a silence, broken only by the faint hum of the flickering lights above. After using the restroom, Emily quickly made her way back to the counter, ready to pay for a snack and leave. The man's gaze remained fixed on her, his eyes dark and calculating. He rang up her items with a deliberate slowness that sent a shiver down her spine. "Just passing through?" he asked, his tone casual but unnerving. "Yeah," Emily replied, her unease growing by the second. "Just trying to find my way back to the main road." The man's lips curled into a sinister smile. "These roads can be tricky, especially on nights like these. You know, some folks never find their way out." Emily's heart raced, the tension in the air becoming almost palpable. She paid quickly and turned to leave, her footsteps echoing in the empty store. As she stepped back into the rain, she felt a sense of relief wash over her. The gas station and its unsettling inhabitant disappeared in her rearview mirror as she accelerated away, leaving behind the eerie scene. Hours later, Emily finally found herself back on a familiar road, the rain beginning to let up. Her heart still raced, and the feeling of unease lingered like a stain. She couldn't shake the memory of those cold eyes and the chilling words that had accompanied them. Though she couldn't explain the source of her unease, Emily knew one thing for certain: that gas station held secrets, and the man behind the counter was far from ordinary. And as the rain finally ceased, she couldn't help but wonder what other unsettling encounters might lie ahead on her journey. In the days that followed, Emily couldn't shake off the unsettling encounter at the gas station. She found herself recounting the story to her friends over a late-night gathering. As she described the eerie atmosphere, the cold gaze of the man, and the words he had spoken, her friends leaned in, captivated by the chilling tale. The room seemed to grow quieter as her friends hung on to every word, their faces reflecting a mixture of fascination and unease. Even as they laughed off the story and tried to rationalize the man's behavior, a lingering sense of disquiet settled among them, like a shadow that refused to dissipate. The rain might have stopped that night, but the memory of that gas station and its sinister inhabitant continued to haunt their thoughts. Over the following weeks, Emily's friends couldn't help but be intrigued by her tale. They began to research the area where the gas station was located, curious if there were any other reports of strange occurrences or unsettling encounters. Late nights were spent huddled around computers, searching for any hint of a dark history surrounding the remote backroads. Their investigations turned up a few unsettling stories. Local legends spoke of a series of disappearances over the years, travelers who had ventured onto those winding roads, only to never be seen again. The gas station seemed to be a common thread in these stories, mentioned by some as a place they had stopped at before vanishing without a trace. As Emily and her friends delved deeper into these accounts, the line between curiosity and obsession began to blur. They became consumed by the mystery, determined to uncover the truth behind the gas station and the man who seemed to hold it in his grip. Late-night discussions turned from excitement to apprehension, as they realized they might be getting closer to a truth they weren't prepared to face. One evening, fueled by their obsession, they decided to return to the area and investigate the gas station firsthand. They loaded up their cars, determined to confront the eerie atmosphere that had lingered in their minds. The rain had returned, the patter on the windshield echoing their racing hearts. As they pulled into the gas station's lot, the same feeling of unease settled over them, like a heavy fog. The gas station appeared even more dilapidated than before, its aura of abandonment intensified by the stormy night. Emily and her friends cautiously stepped out of their vehicles, their flashlight beams cutting through the darkness. The bell above the door jingled as they entered, just like Emily had described. The interior was as she had told them, dimly lit, shelves lined with dusty products, and that eerie stillness hanging in the air. They ventured deeper into the store, their flashlights revealing details that had escaped Emily's initial retelling. Old, faded photographs hung on the walls, faces that seemed familiar, and yet out of place. Their investigation came to a sudden halt when they heard a creaking sound from behind the counter. The man from Emily's story emerged from the shadows, his eyes fixed on them with a mixture of curiosity and malice. The room seemed to grow colder, the silence becoming almost suffocating. He spoke, his voice a chilling echo of what Emily had described. "You've come back," he said, his lips curling into a sinister smile. Just like the others. Fear surged through Emily and her friends, and they fled the gas station, their footsteps echoing in the rain-soaked night. They drove away, hearts pounding, minds racing with a mixture of terror and adrenaline. As they put distance between themselves and the gas station, they realized the truth they had uncovered might be more disturbing than they could have ever imagined. The gas station, the disappearances, the man, all were part of a haunting tapestry that they had unwittingly become entangled in. And as the rain continued to fall, washing away the footprints they had left behind, they were left with a chilling realization. Some mysteries were better left unsolved, some roads better left untraveled.